street, feeling clean, feeling sweet, with 30 coins shiny and new.
The stage is supposed to be where performers feel most alive. For most artists, it is the place they feel most powerful, most at home, most free. But for these 10 performers, the spotlight became their final moment. These are the most tragic deaths that happen live on stage. Number 10. Dimebag Darrell. December 8th carries a weight that rock fans feel every single year. On that date in 2004, at the Alrosa Villa nightclub in Columbus, Ohio, guitarist Darrell Abbott, known to millions as Dimebag Darrell of Pantera, was shot multiple times at point-blank range by a gunman who rushed the stage during Damageplan's opening song. He was 38 years old and died instantly. 3 other people were killed that night, in front of approximately 400 stunned fans. The attack sent shockwaves through the entire rock world. Pantera had split just 2 years earlier, and Dimebag had launched Damageplan with his brother Vinnie Paul as a fresh start. Zakk Wylde, Ozzy Osbourne, and Eddie Van Halen all paid public tribute. He was buried with one of Eddie Van Halen's personal guitars. The date of his death carried a chilling resonance. December 8th is also the date John Lennon was shot and killed in New York, exactly 24 years earlier. And number 9, Richard Versalle. In January of 1996, one of New York's most respected tenors walked onto the stage of the Metropolitan Opera for the company's first-ever staging of Janacek's The Macropulis Case. Richard Versalle had performed at the Met for years, a reliable and celebrated presence in one of the world's most prestigious venues. That night, he climbed a tall ladder as part of the staging and sang the opening lines of his aria. The line translated as, "You can only live so long." Moments later, he suffered a fatal heart attack and fell from the ladder to the stage below. The audience initially froze, unsure whether what they had witnessed was part of the performance. He was pronounced dead on arrival at a nearby hospital. He was 63 years old. The tragic irony of his final sung words left audiences and critics shaken for years. The incident remains one of opera's most haunting moments. Number 8. Les Harvey. Harvey was on stage at a concert in Swansea, Wales in May of 1972 when he grabbed an improperly grounded microphone. The resulting electrical surge was fatal. Les Harvey, lead guitarist of Scottish blues rock band Stone the Crows, collapsed in front of approximately 1,200 stunned fans. He was rushed to hospital but did not survive. He was 27 years old, joining a grim list of musicians lost at that same age. Stone the Crows had been building real momentum, with singer Maggie Bell earning comparisons to Janis Joplin. Harvey's death is widely cited as the first electrocution fatality of a rock guitarist during a live performance, and it forced the live music industry to confront the dangers of improperly grounded equipment. The band disbanded shortly after his passing. Maggie Bell continued as a solo artist, earning praise from Rod Stewart and Robert Plant, among others.
Never seem to know what's going on, and that's a world of force ideals love. You can count.
Number 7. Ian Cognito.
Blimey. That's a Welsh word, is it? Hey? I'm getting fed up with all this national...
Cognito had an aggressive stage persona and a reputation as one of Britain's most provocative stand-up comics. On April 11, 2019, he was midway through a set at the Lone Wolf Comedy Club in Bicester, England. Cognito had joked about having a stroke a few minutes earlier, and the crowd was laughing hard. When the 60-year-old comic took a seat on stage and began breathing heavily before falling silent, the crowd initially thought it was part of the act. A colleague noted that Cognito had been feeling unwell before the show, but insisted on performing anyway.
Oh, it's great here, the Premier Leagues. I bloody love it here, the Premier Leagues. I'll be spending a lot more time here, the Premier Leagues, now that fact.
Cognito collapsed and suffered a fatal cardiac event during his set. Emergency services were called, and he was pronounced dead at the scene. Jimmy Carr paid tribute, noting the audience thought it was part of the act. Cognito had won the Time Out Award for stand-up comedy in 1999.
You, yes you, and your gender. Estrogen in the water.
Number 6. Barbara Weldens.
Viens, oublions que nos cœurs ont déjà traversé mille chemins délabrés.
After releasing her first studio album in February 2017, she died on stage the following July while performing at a festival. On July 19, 2017, Barbara Weldens, aged 35, collapsed suddenly on stage during a live performance at the Léo Ferré Festival in Gourdon, France. The event took place inside the historic church of Notre-Dame de Cordelier, a 13th-century Gothic structure in the southwestern French village.
Désiré, je ne veux pas voir dans tes yeux les rêves s'éteindre au fil du temps, ce temps qui ronge tout.
An autopsy confirmed that she had been electrocuted when she stepped on a defective electrical device on stage. The true culprits were her feet. Barbara Weldens always performed barefoot. She was just months into what appeared to be a breakthrough year. A police investigation was open, and the remainder of the festival was immediately canceled.
Aujourd'hui le jour de notre premier jour de notre nouvelle vie. Viens, je crois que par...
Number 5. Owen Hart.
Vader and Mankind, this Sunday at WrestleMania, you're gonna be in for the fight of your life because the Bulldog...
A member of the Hart wrestling family, Owen was a two-time WWF Intercontinental Champion, a one-time WWF European Champion, and a four-time WWF World Tag Team Champion, as well as the 1994 King of the Ring. On May 23, 1999, he was scheduled to descend from the rafters of Kemper Arena in Kansas City during a pay-per-view event in his Blue Blazer character. The harness released prematurely, and he fell approximately 78 feet to the ring below, landing on the top rope.
Blazer! It's the Blue Blazer! The Blue Blazer descending from
The impact proved fatal. He was 34 years old. Criticism arose over the decision to continue the show after Hart's accident. About an hour after he was rushed to Truman Medical Center, Jim Ross announced on air that Owen had passed away. The WWF settled the case out of court with Hart's surviving family. The relationship between Martha Hart and WWE remains strained to this day.
Two-time Slammy Award winner! I knew it! I'm a winner! I did it!
Number 4. David Olney.
Plan, tell me where, tell me when. I wanna know who's
30 years of performing, more than 25 albums, and a reputation as one of American folk and Americana music's most trusted voices. On January 18, 2020, the 71-year-old singer-songwriter was performing at the 30A Songwriter Festival in Santa Rosa Beach, Florida. He was in the middle of his third song when he simply stopped. He apologized to the audience, closed his eyes, and was gone.
Can't make a dime. I don't know why I came.
There was no drama, no visible distress. He just quietly left, mid-verse, in front of a crowd who had come to celebrate him. Fellow singer-songwriter Amy Rigby, who was performing alongside Olney that night, later described the moment with great tenderness. Olney had recorded with artists including Linda Thompson and Steve Earle, and was admired by peers across the Americana world for his literary approach to songwriting. His final performance was described by those in the room as one of his finest.
All night long, songs they can't remember. Why won't the fiddler play the tune?
Number 3. Leonard Warren.
Marullo, signore.
300 roles, nearly 20 years at the Metropolitan Opera. Leonard Warren was considered the greatest American baritone of his generation, a singer of such commanding power that critics likened him to the finest European voices of the era. On March 4, 1960, he was performing Verdi's La Forza del Destino at the Met in New York. He completed the aria containing the phrase, "to die," a momentous thing. Then he collapsed at the center stage in front of a full house.
Miei signori, perdono.
The Opera House physician rushed to the stage and confirmed Warren had died of a massive cerebral hemorrhage. He was 48 years old. The audience sat in stunned silence as the curtain was lowered. His recordings of Verdi arias remain in print to this day. The Met canceled the remainder of the performance that night.
Pietà, signori, Pietà, signori.
Number 2. Tiny Tim.
Through the window, by the window, that is where I'll be.
The falsetto voice that shocked and charmed millions. He had become one of the most recognizable performers in America through his live wedding to Miss Vicky on The Tonight Show, starring Johnny Carson on December 17, 1969, watched by an estimated 40 million viewers. By the mid-1990s, Tiny Tim was still performing wherever he could, driven by a love of the stage that outlasted the fame. In September of 1996, he suffered a serious heart attack during a performance in Massachusetts. Doctors explicitly told him to stop performing. He refused. A few weeks later, on November the 30th, 1996, he took the stage at a gala event for the Women's Club of Minneapolis in Minnesota. Friends recalled that he told his companion before walking out that he did not feel well, but that he could not let his audience down. He collapsed during his performance of Tiptoe Through the Tulips, the song that had made him famous nearly 30 years earlier. He died at the hospital later that night. He was 64.
Tiptoe through all the tulips with me.
Number 1. Colonel Bruce Hampton. Hampton, born Gustav Berglund III, began his music career in the late 1960s with the Hampton Grease Band. In the early 1990s, while leading the Aquarium Rescue Unit, Hampton was widely credited with helping inspire and foster a new wave of improvisational jam band artists, including Widespread Panic, Blues Traveler, Dave Matthews, and Fish. On May 1, 2017, the Fox Theater in Atlanta filled with fans and over 30 musicians for a concert billed as Hampton 70, a celebration of his 71st birthday, which he had marked the day before.
To New Orleans.
Members of Fish, Widespread Panic, Leftover, Salmon, Blues Traveler, and the Tedeschi Trucks Band all shared the stage in his honor. During the encore, Hampton collapsed on stage. Onlookers and fellow musicians initially thought it was a ruse due to his long history of practical jokes and falling down mid-performance. The band played for several minutes before Hampton was taken off stage, and he died shortly thereafter at Emory University Hospital. Former bandmate Jeff Mosier wrote that he could have never imagined a more joyful departure.